Hey guys, welcome to the B-Sides. I'm Eric, your host, and today for us we have Chun. What's up, Chun?
What's good?
Yeah, okay, so Chun, I think one of the things people know about you is that you kind of live on a farm. You at least have farm animals at your house, right?
I do now.
But that was kind of like a recent thing.
That was within the last, like 4 or 5 years.
Got it. And what animals do you have at home?
Um, so regular domesticated animals have a dog,
Named?
dog named Bear.
Okay.
I got him my graduate school year.
So he's your dog.
He is my dog that I've semi-pawned off to my parents again.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, I have a dog, 3 cats, and then some ducks, chickens, and goats. So I don't know if you count that as a farm or not.
I mean, I think as long as you have more than one chicken, you pretty much count consider it a farm in my book. So when is it mostly your parents who take care of the farm animals themselves, or is it kind of like a family effort?
It's mostly 99% my dad.
Okay, yeah.
He's kind of retired now, so I guess that's kind of his hobby, I guess you'd say. It's not because we don't sell the animals or anything like that. So he just treats them as pets every day.
And that wasn't like anything close to his job that he had before he retired, right?
No, he was a chef before, and he's always loved like just being outside and doing yard work. So
Gotcha. And then you guys take the eggs mostly and of the chickens, and then I don't even know if the goats are just there.
Yeah, the goats are just like
they're chilling.
Dogs that don't listen to you.
Yeah. Do they bounce on metal a lot? That's what I hear.
They do hop around. We have like elevated surfaces that they love to jump on and just kind of hop around.
They're just jumping, right? There's like no reason that they're jumping. They just jump.
Yeah, I can't tell what they like to do for fun. They like to headbutt each other and climb on top of things. So
do they ever fall?
No, they're pretty coordinated.
Hey,
so.
they're stable. So how many eggs do you think you get in like a week?
I feel like it comes and goes depending on the season or the chicken's moods, I guess. Because sometimes like there'll be a season where they just like lay eggs every day, and then other times they just like don't lay eggs consecutive weeks in a row. And then
is that annoying then? Do you have to like go buy eggs ever just because they're not giving you eggs that week?
Yeah, there was a period. Yeah, there's periods of like weeks or months where they don't lay eggs, I guess, especially in the winter. Then we just buy eggs again.
Do you guys give them like a specific diet to make sure they have like the orange yolks or whatever?
I don't know. I know my dad gives them some chicken feed, but I don't know if he also feeds them like other things as well. So
can you actually tell if they're different than your store-bought eggs?
I can definitely tell once you crack it and look at it.
Yeah.
So like store-bought eggs are more like yellowy, like a crayon yellow.
Yeah.
And then our eggs are like, they're not even like always orange sometimes, but like they're more of like an orange and a vibrant color. So you can tell, but taste-wise, they honestly taste the exact same.
That's fair. You're telling that your dad was a chef in a previous life. And does he still cook now?
He does. He does cook now. So
gotcha. And do you benefit a lot from that?
I do. I'm very lucky and blessed to
fair enough.
that he still cooks. So
yeah. Do you take any of that after you? Are you a big cook now too at all?
Not as much as I should take notes. My brother was the one growing up to like watch him and help him and stuff, and I kind of just didn't do that. So now I'm catching up, trying to learn.
Do you ever have to fight off any wild animals trying to get at your chickens or anything?
Yeah, there's foxes. So sometimes my dad will like let the chickens out just like free range, but it's like kind of have to watch them because sometimes there's been times where say we have like 10 chickens, and then when it's time to lock them up, there's only 9 chickens left. So we're like, where'd the other one go?
Oh, that's not ideal. Wait, so that means though, if you only have chickens, do you have any roosters? So then eventually the chickens will move on.
We had a rooster. We had several roosters.
Got boxed.
They kind of that's like sometimes I'll come back out and like,
man,
where's the rooster? So I'm assuming
that's tough.
Maybe it wandered off or something.
Gotcha. Well, that's interesting. Do you have a favorite? Okay, besides your dog, do you have a favorite of the farm animals?
I think one of the OG goats. So my parents had 2 baby guy goats that they were the first 2. And one of them has really long ears and the other one has like little small ears.
Droopy ears, yeah.
So I can't remember which one, but one of them has like really long hair and it looks like he has a perm. So I kind of like that one.
You should give him an actual perm.
I don't think I need to. It's really curly already and long.
Fair. Do they actually have those like cross eyes, like crosses in their eyes, or?
I try not to look too deeply into the eyes. They're kind of creepy, so try to avoid
they're really
eye
cute if they're not looking directly at them.
Yeah, I kind of have to like squint my eyes when I look at them.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Chun, being one of the members of this podcast team, I'm sure you're well aware that we'd like to ask what people's hot takes are. So I was wondering if you have one in mind that you'd like to share.
Hot take. I'll say that you don't need to have grown up in an area or be born in that area to support that sports team. So like, yeah, I think all the people, because for myself, personally speaking, I'm saying, why are you a Dallas fan? And I'm saying, it's not that fun being a Dallas fan. It's not like we've been successful the last...
And this specifically Cowboys, right? Or is it also the Mavs?
It's only specifically Cowboys. Yeah. So I've watched, for football, it's Cowboys. My family friend, when I was like 2, first team I ever watched was the Cowboys, and just been watching them since. And, you know, it's not like we won much since for 28 years. But yeah, I think that's my hot take. You don't have to be born there, really grew up in that area to be a fan of the team.
So say someone moved to like Virginia, for example, right? And then the Commanders doing well right now, and they become a fan of the team. Are they instantly just a bandwagon fan, or do you think they're just trying to support their local team?
I think that's fine because, you know, if you move there, you can support your local team. I don't think if I moved to San Francisco, I would support the Niners.
That's fair. Yeah. So you said you started liking the Cowboys way back when. Were they good back then, or do you just like them because they were the first team that you were watching pretty much?
They were just the first team I watched. And again, growing up with my family friends, that's like the team I grew up watching. So I was like, okay, I'll just pick it up and start following them. And yeah, I just grew to like the team.
Well, for the last 10 years, I'm sure you've had a good time because the Cowboys were way better than the Commanders for up till now, at least. Have you gone to many games recently between Cowboys and Commanders?
No, I've actually never been to an NFL game. I've only been to college football games. So.
Yeah. College football is for your own school back at?
My own school, and then just like a random Ohio State and like Navy game or something like that.
Were you big into your college sports when you're at Tech, or?
I was, but not as much as, you know, I guess I would say like diehard Hokies are.
Fair.
Especially at Tech, I feel like there is a big culture of supporting the school sports, even if you're not a fan of the sports.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I enjoyed that.
Right. Good camaraderie amongst your classmates, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
That day. So, Chun, I think, and I was thinking about it, I think I met you about 3 years ago, but that was when you came to church as a non-believer. Since then, for those you don't know, he's been baptized and you became a member of CCPC. So I guess the background is, I think for a lot of us who've been at CCPC for a while or just kind of grown up in the church, we don't really know what the church looks like from an outside perspective, especially as someone who kind of has entered it and kind of enjoys being at church now. So I was wondering, were there any preconceived notions you had about church that you kind of either no longer hold now, or maybe they changed based on the past, or in general, like how has your view on church in general adapted for more positive, for negative?
Yeah. I think, you know, before coming to faith and, you know, attending church, I thought church was a Sunday thing. You go to church on Sundays and that's the end of it. But since coming to CCPC, you know, it can be that for sure. But it's also can be a lot more than that with, you know, CGs, different ministries and things like that. So I think that's one of the bigger things that I learned since attending.
Yeah. So I'm not going to quiz you on biblical literacy or anything, but like in terms of the gospel, like, did you have any understanding of that before you came to Christ Central, or is that really something you had to learn from scratch more or less when you came?
Yeah, I would say basically from scratch, more sense. I grew up with a lot of my close friends were Catholic, but never really learned too much about it. You know, sometimes went to mass with them or different things just here and there, but never really learned much or knew what the gospel was.
Did you have any understanding then of what like Christianity even was in general, or was it really just kind of out of your head? You didn't really think about it.
Yeah,
mostly just out of your head.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, that's fair. Having been here for again, what 3 years or so, right?
Yeah, two and a half years.
2.5 years.
2.5 years now.
What have you really enjoyed about, I guess, being at CCPC?
I'll go with the boring answer of the community, but I do really mean that. And because, I mean, I saw it firsthand even for myself. I think, especially coming to a new church and just new community in general, it can be kind of intimidating, and especially post college where, a lot of people have different friend groups and things like that. It might be hard to meet people, but I've really enjoyed just getting to meet different people and, um, in that aspect, have different relationships with different people because everyone has different interests, and you get to spend time in different ways together.
And not saying for better or for worse, but do you feel like your relationships that you've developed within the community here are different than your non-Christian relationships? And again, not better or worse, just because the baseline is a little different, right? Or do you really feel like it kind of matches each other pretty similarly and just has like a different foundation, but it ends up looking pretty similar?
Yeah, I kind of like the way you put it at the end. I think if I take a step back and think about it, it's obviously built on a different foundation, but I feel like surface level and just taking a quick look at it, it kind of is built on, similar things where it's like,
gotcha,
your interests and things like that. But at the end of the day, it is built on a different foundation that goes deeper than those interests.
And you've been part of CG now for the same amount of time, in 2.5 years or so.
Mm-hmm.
Have you been enjoying that?
Yeah, for sure. I think for me, the concept of CG was completely new to me.
Sure.
But I think once I kind of got used to it and became more accustomed to it, it's definitely obviously something I look forward to, and enjoy the people in my CG and other CG. So.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything that's kind of been difficult to adjust to coming to a church kind of for the first time in your life, or is it mostly like pretty run the mill, like, okay, yeah, it's different, but I can, learn to adjust or accept it now?
Yeah, I think it's just different, and then, slowly adjust over time.
Yeah.
There wasn't any like huge shocker, I guess.
I'm sure. Yeah, these are not questions you really think about in the grand scheme of things. So sorry for drilling you here, but I think it's interesting because, as I said before, for me, example, like my entire life, I kind of grew up at church, so I don't know what not being at church looks like on Sundays, honestly. And I think it's not like I wish for that to happen, but it's definitely like something that I probably will never be able to experience in my life. So it's great to see you thriving from what I see in this environment, because I'm sure it could feel daunting at first when you're coming in and it's all brand new, and these people, or not these people, but we are like, we've been here for so long, and for you to try to find that footing must not have been the easiest, right? So how do you think you're able to kind of adapt into that?
Yeah, no, for sure. I definitely agree that it was daunting, and it still can be, honestly, at times. I still feel like a infant in terms of my faith and everything in the grand scheme of things, but I think something that really helped me become a little more comfortable, and just not saying everything was good, but even through the uncomfortable times, was, again, the community. I don't want to give them a shout out too early, but for example, like Alex, he reached out before I even came to CCPC for the first time, and we kind of just chatted a little bit and talked, and it just made the whole process and everything a little more comfortable, I would say, and more at ease.
And now that you've been at CCPC for a while, have you seen any growth or change in yourself at all? Or do you think you're still kind of trying to get to that point where you be able to blossom past there?
Sorry, change in what way?
Honestly, just growth in general. I think it's maybe not growth. I guess changes make more sense. Like, do you ever feel like you want to be more intentional with your community? You want to learn more about the Bible. Maybe you want to understand your foundation better. You want to make your connections more holy, more biblical, stuff like that.
Yeah, no, for sure. Definitely still have those thoughts, but I think if I take a step back and, it's it's hard for it's easy for everything to blend in because it's just like over the last couple of years, things can just blend in together. But if I take a step back and really think about it, I do feel like I've made strides in way towards things that, you know, I want to grow in, like you said,
sure.
For example, like biblical literacy, just trying to find different brothers and sisters to read the word together on a more consistent basis and just doing little goals like that.
Sure.
You know, and obviously not perfect at it. And
yeah, definitely. And, no one is.
It's hard to follow through at times, but I think, if I'm going to be nice to myself, I would say so. Yeah.
Sure. I think it's honestly really tough to be nice to yourself and figure things that are like that you grew in on, like just being honest. I think that's a really tough thing for maybe Asian Americans to do, but just people in general, maybe. But Chun, I know also kind of related to that, you are doing some level of accountability with some of the brothers. Do you think that's been able to help you and kind of create that structure? Or, I mean, just like legitimately, honestly, do you feel it's just something kind of that you're making just need to be a routine and then you can start to grow in it, you know? Because both are true. Both can be true, I mean.
Yeah, I think part of it is building that muscle and routine to get accustomed to doing it. Because, for example, for me, it's just completely brand new thing. And I think if I'm going to be realistic with myself, it's going to be hard. I've tried it and it's hard for me to just sit down and like, okay, I'm going to do QT today, every day, every other day sort of thing. But trying to set realistic goals for myself and, do that with different brothers, I think is super helpful, especially ones that, are more knowledgeable, grew up in the church and things like that. I think in general, it's hard to do things alone and get very far. I do believe that, you know, you can accomplish more and go farther in a group with people. So
do you think you're naturally good at creating routines for yourself, or has it really been something you've been struggling to, in general, just try to get better at?
I think I'm generally pretty good at, if there's a goal or something I know I want to do or work at, I'm pretty good at setting that. It's, I guess, balancing it with a lot of other goals or tasks. I think I'm pretty good at, you know, focusing on one or two things, but then once I need to start juggling a lot, then I
promise not to go into this much at all, but I know that when you went into your master's program, you did your CPA in 1 year, all 4 parts of it. Is that right?
Yes, I'm trying to remember. So
yeah, I guess it was a little bit of
I think I took my first part the summer before I started in the fall, and then I basically took one each semester. So I did a second part in the fall, another one in the spring, and then I think I finished it in the summer or I did one in the winter and then finished in like late spring sort of thing.
Is that a normal pattern for people to do, where they did the master's program and then also do the CPA exam? Or is that because, as you just said, that you were really focused and then you want to kind of single task yourself to be able to get everything out of the way?
I don't think it's super rare. I think it's definitely, a lot of people will encourage it to like at least start taking some tests. I kind of just crammed it in within that year because I wanted to, for me, from talking with people and from what I've seen, I saw it was really hard to try to do it while working.
Right,
so I was like, I'd rather just suck it up now and try to do it within school versus trying to do it after.
Yeah. So that entire time, were you just like nose to the ground, just studying all day kind of thing while you're still in school, where you had like the time to do that? Or were you just able to kind of do it as an extra side to being your master's program?
I think it was just a lot of work, I would say, because I don't think I'm by any means like super naturally smart or anything. So I think it was just during that time, you know, just doing my normal course load. I was a teaching assistant, so I had 2 classes I was teaching an accounting course for, and then on the side I was, you know, studying for my CPA. So I just kind of accepted during that next year that that's what my life was going to revolve around, and just kind of how I tried to get through it.
That makes sense. Well, and we might cut this out because it's going to be a tougher question, but is there anything that you would like to see for CCPC to do better at, now that you've been here a couple of years? Not that, it could be something that we're doing good that you still want us to do better at, right? But now that you've been here, well, I think it's fair to say that you are a beloved member of Christ Central. So that means that you're able and you're allowed to have your own thoughts about like how we operate, right? So is there anything you've ever wished we've done differently or stronger or anything like that? Because I will say, like when I'm making food, for example, right? I think if I only get positive reinforcement, then I'm like, I don't believe any of you, But if someone's like, Eric, that was mostly good, but I was wondering if you thought about blah blah blah, like adding spice, blah blah blah, and then I'm like, okay, this guy's actually paying attention, this guy's actually has thoughts in his head about like what needs to be better.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess I don't know. I don't think this is necessarily specific to just CCPC or just maybe like a church of our size in general. And again, CCPC is really the only church I've regularly attended. But I do think in general it can be difficult, and I know we have a lot of different options for people, for like newcomers and things like that, to get plugged into the community. But I don't know what the solution is, because it makes no sense what I'm about to say, because I feel like you want people to kind of organically and naturally meet people in their community. But again, it is hard if you just sit back and try to let that happen. Right. Like probably 9 times out of 10, it's not going to work out in that way. So you do have to try to do things to plug people in and get people connected. But I don't know. I guess. Do
you think that's more geared towards newcomers, or even having been here for a while, do you think we need to be more, I guess, integrated within our own church?
I think both for sure, because I think even being here for a while, and because maybe it's just because we're a larger church, that natural groups are bound to be formed and things like that. And I'm not saying everyone needs to be like
friends with everyone.
Yeah, like best friends or any means.
Meet every single person.
I think as a church family, there should be a baseline at least of like, I don't want to say how close some connection of like, we are a church family and we're all one family. So
it's a great point. I mean, that's one of the reasons why we're doing this podcast. So you chose a great topic.
That's why I'm passionate about.
Oh, let's go, Chun. Hopefully you do this for a lot longer. But I also heard, Chun, that you are going to be also joining the youth ministry, right? Up in the upcoming fall.
I am.
Okay. Well, what led you to that decision? Because I'm sure it wasn't an easy one to just pick up such a huge responsibility.
So this will be the first time that I'll be serving in this capacity at church. And I think after talking to some people, praying about it and thinking about it, I think it was just something that I thought would be not only obviously good in serving back to and giving back to the church, but I think good for myself in a personal way to kind of just push myself a little bit to grow and get out of my comfort zone. So.
I mean, I think you've been really good at pushing yourself out of your comfort zone. Just from my outside opinion, do you think that's been an internal thing that you've been pushing, or do you feel like you've had good brothers and sisters who said, "Hey, Chun, I think you should challenge yourself in this way"?
I think both for sure. I think the people around me, I think there's the healthy level of like, obviously wanting the best for me and trying to push me, but also not like necessarily
going overboard.
Yeah, and I don't ever feel like they're trying to guilt me in anything at any point.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I would say kind of just a little bit of both.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Are you excited, or are you more nervous about having to take on responsibility?
Can I say I'm nervous about watching over middle school kids?
Yeah. Hey, we never know. I guess these are, I mean, because, for example, I grew up at CCPC, so a lot of the parents I know, but you're completely brand new to all these new students, even new leaders, new environment. But from what I hear, they have good leadership out in youth group. So I think you're going to be situated pretty well.
Yeah. No, I'm excited and nervous at the same time. I think it's a good nervousness, I would say. And at the end of the day, definitely just want to be able to be there for the kids and hopefully be beneficial and help them in any way I can.
Gotcha.
So
it's going to be interesting because as I said before, like there's a lot of us who've been at retreats in our lifetime, so we kind of have this rhythm that we expect. But I think it's going to be interesting with you probably not having a ton of external retreat experiences, see kind of with a critical lens, like how things are structured. Like, hey, maybe we should change this up because I don't know why we do this. Oh, we always done that way. So, oh, interesting. Good to know. But I always think it's great when people help out for youth ministry. It was one of the ministries I was really grateful to be part of for a while. So, and I really hope you enjoy your time there, because I think it's really great to be able to grow, not just for the kids' faith, but yours as well, and just being able to serve in that capacity.
Yeah, for sure. I'm excited. So.
Yeah. Have you already joined in any of the meetings yet, or is it still upcoming?
I think it's just upcoming. I don't think anything official has happened for this upcoming ministry year.
That's fair. I hope you still be part of the podcast team, but it is what it is. We'll figure that out. Let's see. I guess let's go into the. Is there anyone in your time here at CCPC that you think has, let's say besides Alex, because you just talked about Alex, not that Alex doesn't do a lot, but that you feel ingratiated by, or really appreciate how they've been able to walk with you through this time?
Yeah, definitely. I want to give a shout out to my 2 CG leaders, David and Amy. Mm-hmm. Been part of their CG for 2 years now, and I think I really can't say like they've done such a good job of, creating a safe and comfortable space for everyone in the CG to grow in their faith, and for us to grow together and kind of push each other to do that as well. Mm-hmm. I will say, and want to give them credit that I think they have done such a good job of, definitely trying to push people to grow. And that doesn't necessarily mean like, oh, like go serve more or anything like that. And in whatever capacity it is, I think they've done a really good job of making people feel encouraged and wanting to grow, and whatever that may look like. So.
Sure. Yeah. That's awesome. Do you feel that you were able to become part of the community and then they were able to push you? Or do you feel like that's always kind of been a healthy, good pressure that they've been able to levy?
I think if I'm answering your question, I think they do a good job of building that community, right. And then, that
building off that
mm-hmm. is just really natural and easy. So
gotcha. I'm glad. I mean, I know David for a while was really pondering like whether he should lead CG, and we really pushed him. And I think he's done a great job, and I think you would agree, and Amy of course too. But I collabed with Amy as well, and it was great. So Chun, now that you've kind of been, I guess, ministered to honestly by a lot of these brothers who've been in the faith for longer, do you feel comfortable in your faith right now, or is that still something you're actively working towards? I mean, I think we all are, right? But are you more secure, structured in your own faith now, where you feel like you can not necessarily blossom, but kind of grow in different ways that you weren't able to before?
I still feel sorry, what was can you repeat that again?
Yeah. I wish I could. I think it's saying like, do you feel comfortable enough in your spiritual, in your faith, where you feel like you can start growing past, I guess, these, and not entry level specifically growth pains, but kind of like being secure where you are, where you can kind of bridge and build off of it instead of kind of building that foundation?
I'll say half and half.
Yeah.
I do feel still not uneasy in terms of like, oh, I don't know if I believe, but it's just, I just feel
like you don't know what you don't know still.
Exactly. But I think especially with being mentored by the brothers around me, I feel comfortable in being okay and not knowing what I know, and that's kind of allowed me to kind of have that like childlike mindset of just like, okay, let's just, I don't know this, let's learn. Like I'm never going to pretend I know something or act like I know something when I don't. So I think that's been really freeing and helpful in being able to just try to branch out, like you said.
Of course. Well, Chun, I thank you for your time. I think it's been really good, again, not just in the past time that you've been leading this podcast stuff with me, but just it's been great getting to meet you and be friends with you over the past few years. So thanks for being on the show, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Eric. And yeah, it's been great being a friend the last couple of years, and we'll see what the future holds.
Hopefully some league wins, but we'll see.
I don't know about that.
All right, talk to you guys later.
Bye.